Let's see. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. Commissioner Baker, Commissioner Sadowski. So I know Commissioner Allender's not going to be with us today. Commissioner Hill just joined us.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys doing? Getting ready for Santa?
Yeah, did you get my list?
I did. I'm still working on it.
All right. There's Commissioner Enders. So we're looking for Forstein. There she is. Oh, take those things down so we can see you. There we go. All right. We know Commissioner Rojas is going to be with us today. Joe, we heard anything?
I'll ask Lisa to see if she can confirm, but he usually does not respond when we ask for in advance for attendance.
Okay. Well,
yeah, he didn't respond.
Okay. Well, we've got a quorum, so everybody ready to go ahead and get started?
We're ready.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the City Planning Commission meeting. This is our final one of 2021. As you know, it's been a great year filled with development, change, and improvements within our great city. And we're really happy to see opportunity and diversity in our community. And more importantly, we're glad that people see this as a wonderful place to belong and to call it home. So thank you, everyone. I want to continue to remind everybody about the comprehensive plan. It's titled the KC Spirit Playbook. We're a little over halfway through that thing. There's a lot of information and a lot of things going on with it. So please be sure to comment and follow along as to where it's at and provide your input for it. And you can check out the comprehensive plan at playbook.kcmo.gov. The commissioners understand that every project is important and unique. We also want to make sure we address them all with the attention that they need to build a consensus between the applicant, public, and the city staff. The commissioners believe we can reach consensus by being brief yet heard. So therefore, we have time limits in place for the cases that we hear, which is 5 minutes for staff presentations, 20 minutes for applicant presentations, plus any questions by the commissioners. When we move to public comment, please limit comments to 2 minutes when speaking as an individual, or up to 5 minutes when representing a community association or a larger group. As we get started, I ask staff to briefly provide some ground rules and instructions for all of us to ensure that we have a great meeting without any disruptions and we can have maximum clarity. So Joe, if you can remind us of those ground rules, that would be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The basic ground rules are that there are 2 types of participants in this meeting. There are panelists, which right now consists only of the commission and city staff. And then there are attendees. And attendees are the rest of people who are currently joining us on Zoom. If you are interested in a case when I call the case, if you're the applicant, please raise your hand using the raised hand feature in Zoom, and we'll promote you over to a panelist position. The same is true when we call for a public hearing on any of the items. If you're a citizen interested in testifying, raise your hand and we'll promote you over. The promotion will put you into a panelist position. And when we promote you, you'll receive a request from Zoom asking you to accept the promotion. You should accept that. That is coming from me or my staff trying to promote you over. What that does is it allows you to be seen, to share your video and be seen, and also to share your audio. You are in control of your video and audio at that time. So we would ask that you mute yourself when you're not speaking, but also be prepared to unmute yourself and speak as soon as you're called. The last thing to point out, Mr. Chair, is that the chat feature that's provided here is just to answer any questions you might have about technology or the agenda itself. It is not to be used to provide testimony or to discuss the merits of a particular project. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So at this time, let's go ahead and work through our consent agenda items, please.
All right. We have 5 items on consent, and we're recommending approval with conditions on all 5. The first one is docket item C1, case number CPC 2021-00050. A request to approve a project plan in District B3 for animal services for Camp Bow Wow located at the southwest corner of Missouri Highway 152 and Green Hills Road. Docket item C2 is case number CLD Final Plat 2021-00053. This is the first plat for Erica's Place to create 54 residential lots located north of Line Creek or of Old Tiffany Springs Road and west of North Platte Purchase Drive. Docket item C3, case number Final Plat 2021-00052. A request to approve a final plat for the Congress Corporate Center, 5th plat, which is located on the west side of North Congress between Interstate 435 on the north and Northwest 112th Street on the south. Docket item C4, case number Final Plat 2021-00056. A request to approve a final plat on 1 acre located at the southwest corner of Northeast 82nd Terrace and North Flintlock to create 2 commercial lots. And docket item C5, case number Final Plat 2020-00032. A request to approve a final plat for William Tidball's First Edition located at the northeast corner of East 23rd and Indiana Avenue. And again, staff is recommending approval with conditions on all 5.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission regarding these consent agenda items? Okay, so at this time, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. So if there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket items C1, C2, C3, C4, or C5, please raise your hand and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, no one is raising their hand.
Okay, so with that, then we'll go ahead and close all public testimony. And if there's nothing else to discuss amongst the commissioners on these cases, I'll take a motion, please.
Chair Crowell, I move to approve docket items C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5 with conditions as stated in the docket.
Second.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for approval of those docket items. Lisa, can you take roll call of that motion, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, so it looks like the motion passes for approval of those 5 projects. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our regular agenda, and starting with the docket items that are to be continued.
We have a total of 4 continuances. The first one is docket item 1. We have 3 companion cases here. 1.1, case number CPC 2021-00183. A request to amend the Midtown Plaza area plan on about 2 acres located on the west side of Bell Street between 39th on the north and 40th on the south. And docket item 1.2, case number CPC 2021-00181. A request to rezone approximately 2 acres at the same location. And docket item 1.3, case number CPC 2021-00184. A request to approve a development plan at the same location to allow the construction of an apartment building. The applicant is requesting these 3 cases be continued to January 18th, and staff recommends continuance without fee. The next continuance is docket item 6, case number CPC 2021-00164. Request to rezone from District DC 15 to District UR and approve a preliminary development plan to allow for the redevelopment of an existing structure into a multifamily structure on about 1 acre located at 423 West 8th Street. The applicant is requesting continuance to January 4th to allow resubmittal of plans, and staff recommends continuance without fee. Docket item 8, case number CPC 2021-00156. This is a request to consider approval of a development plan to allow for 2 principal structures on 1 lot on about 14 acres located at the southeast corner of Booth Avenue and US 40 Highway for Flynn Midwest. The applicant is requesting continuance to January 18th, and staff recommends continuance with fee. And finally, docket item 9, case number CPC 2021-00053. This is the Green Infrastructure Ordinance Amendments. This is a proposed presentation to be given by Water Services staff to the Planning Commission to discuss the Green Infrastructure Plan. I think the title here is misleading. There are no ordinance amendments proposed at this time. It's just to discuss the plan. I just wanted to point that out. We need to continue this case to March 1st as the project manager has left the city and they're in the process of appointing a new project manager that hopefully will be prepared to present to you all by March. So we're recommending continuance without fee to March 1st. And that concludes the continuances.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners regarding the docket items to be continued? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak about the continuance of docket items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 6, 8, or 9, please raise your hand and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, Phil Thomas has raised his hand. I'm going to promote him to panelist.
Okay,
That's the only person that's raised their hand.
all right.
Mr. Thomas, please accept the promotion. Or lower your hand if you don't want to join us.
Hi, Mr. Thomas, are you available? And just if you take yourself off of mute, please state your name and address for the record.
Phil Thomas, 151 Highland Ridge Circle, Belton. I'm speaking, or I guess just a question on item number 8. I'm the contractor associated with that. I'm not the applicant, and I was unaware as being continued. Is there information on who requested that continuance and if there was a reason?
I'm not sure what the reason is, but the request came from Judd Clausen, who's the engineer with Phelps Engineering representing the property owner.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That was the only person that raised their hand, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close all public testimony then. Are there any questions from the commission? If not, then I'll go ahead and take a motion, please.
I move to continue docket item 6 and 9 as listed in the docket, and to continue docket items 1.2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 to January 18th without fee, and docket item 8 to January 18th with fee.
Okay, so I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for continuance of docket items 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 without to January 18th without a fee, and docket item 6 to January 4th without a fee, docket item 8 to January 18 with a fee, and docket item 9 to March 1st without a fee. So Lisa, can you take a roll call on that motion, please?
Mhm. Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
mhm, Crow,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Oh, and Commissioner Rojas.
Aye.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it looks like the motion passes for continuance of those docket items. All right, let's go ahead and move then to docket item number 2.
Docket item number 2 is case number SUP 2021-00084. This is a request to approve a special use permit to allow an outdoor storage use on about 1 acre located at 321 North Main Street. Jared Clements is our staff planner.
Good morning, commissioners. Bear with me one moment while I share my screen. All right, so before us, we have docket item number 2, SUP 2021-00084. This is at 315 North Main Street, zoning district M1-5. The applicant is seeking approval of a special use permit to allow for outdoor storage uses. They have met their public engagement requirement on November 30th of 2021. This is the location of the subject site. It's within the boundaries of the greater downtown area plan. More specifically, it's in the north, it's north of the River Market in the area known as Harlem. It's off of Northeast Harlem Road. This is an example of the type of structure proposed in the subject site. The applicants own an industrial business nearby and intend to use the structure for material storage. This is the landscaping plan and site plan provided by the applicant. Please note the screening of the use in the vehicular use area from the surrounding right-of-way. The applicants plan to utilize the lot to the west in future phases of development, but for now, they're just going to be screening the current use, or proposed use rather. I did notice that the conditions and corrections were not included in my staff report, so I've included them here and have uploaded them to Compass KC. Conditions include complying with building codes and receiving approval from the levy district. The only remaining correction regards a variance. The applicant is seeking to allow them to have a gravel driveway at the property line. Staff recommends approval with conditions and corrections as listed in the conditions and corrections and recommendation report. With that, I will conclude my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Jared. Can you go back to the aerial plan just to kind of see what's around this and what everything else is zoned around it?
Sure thing. I can actually, here, I'll open it up on Parcel Viewer instead. All right. So this is the area. I'll kind of zoom out a little bit. This is the River Market. This is Harlem. These are all industrial uses. This small area here is zoned R2.5, and I believe there are 2 homes here left, and the rest of the area is industrially used. So I did have the applicants provide screening between the property and the residential uses. Is there anything else you'd like to see?
Nope, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on the variance request, can you just clarify again? Are you saying you're okay with the gravel going up to the street, or that's what they're requesting, but the condition still has the 10 feet of pavement?
Yep. So it's a correction that they need to comply with that section. Basically, just to have it in there in case the board does not grant the variance, just so that it's clear that they have to do that if they do not grant the variance. We don't make recommendations for variances, so it'll be up to the Board of Zoning Adjustment.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Okay, let's go ahead and welcome the applicant. Is the applicant available?
I'm promoting Jacob Hodson.
Okay. Hi, good morning, Jacob. If you can state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and the rest of the commissioners. My name is Jacob Hodson. I'm with Olson at 1301 Burlington in North Kansas City. I'm here representing my client, the Embassy Landscape Group, on this small development in Harlem. They have currently been in operations in Harlem for a little over 15 years, just to the south of this proposed site. And they would like to expand their operations to include some covered material storage to better serve their clients. They have been working well with the Jones Iron and Metal family that owns the land adjacent to their site and the site that is currently rested on. This proposal is a little different. We are submitting two plans, one with the correction and one without. And we intend to ask for a variance because the Embassy Landscape Group and Jones Iron and Metal would like to seek a vacation of North Main Street in the future once they can require the land from Michael Webb. They've made several attempts to contact him to purchase this land, and it turns out he's quite an absent landlord. So once they can do that, they will work to vacate North Main Street there in Harlem. And then the thought is the code ordinance 8842016Q will no longer be applicable. So we do intend to seek that variance later. We are working with the North Kansas City Levy District currently. And once we go into permit, construction documents for permit, we will provide the North Levy District everything they need in order to approve this plan. We have worked with Jared to provide additional screening for the residents across the way. And being a landscape company, the embassy intends to use pretty high quality material to do that screening with. So with that said, I'm going to leave it up to you. Questions from me. All we'd ask is that you approve this special use permit. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the commission to the applicant?
I have one. How big is the facility that you're wanting to do, and you're just doing one on this site?
Yes, for right now, there's only one proposed material storage shelter. So it's covered shelter. The intent is that it will store salt, and then a gravel maneuvering yard so they can get the trucks in and out. But no vehicle storage will be on the site. It's only for maneuvering. The material storage unit itself is about 120 feet by 65 feet. And just like in the picture, it'll be a concrete block with a canvas cover on it. There is no intent to light this facility. They're going to use the existing street lights and all the lighting that's provided from across their operations across the street.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? With that, we'll go ahead and open it up for public testimony then. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 2, please raise your hand and you will be called upon. Not really seeing
Mr.
anybody.
Chair, no one is raising their hand.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony. Anything else, applicant, you'd like to state?
No, just thank you for your time, and we ask that you approve this special use permit. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So at this time, we'll go ahead and close all testimony. And if there's anything to discuss with the commissioners, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve docket item 2 with conditions.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second for approval with conditions stated. Jared, there are how many conditions on this?
There's 2 conditions and 1 correction.
Okay. All right, Lisa, can you take roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes 7-0. Appreciate you bringing the project in and good luck moving forward. All right, so with that, I guess we're ready for docket item 3.1 and 3.2.
Right. Docket item 3.1 is case number CPC 2021-00188. Request to approve an area plan amendment to the Gashland-Nashua area plan to change the recommended land use from residential low density to mixed use neighborhood to allow for a personal improvement service use located at 8532 North Oak Traffic Way. Docket item 3.2, case number CPC 2021-00187. Request to approve a rezoning from District R 7.5 to District B1-1 for the same purposes at the same location. Genevieve Kahn is our staff planner.
Good morning, everyone. One moment while I pull up my presentation. Oop. Sorry, one moment. A few too many windows open this morning. Okay. Be able to see my presentation? Okay. Okay, so this morning I'll be presenting on 3.1, 3.2 for rezoning without plan and a corresponding area plan amendment for Healing Hands on North Oak Traffic Way. The request is to approve an area plan amendment to the Gashland-Nashua area plan and then rezoning from R-7.5 to B1-1 to allow for personal improvement service use on the subject site. The public engagement requirement was met on December 14th. So the site is generally located in the north half of the city in the Sherrydale neighborhood. And this is a close-up view of the property on North Oak. The site is currently zoned R-7.5, which is a residential zoning. And the existing structure is a house that has also been operating a home occupation. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see the surrounding properties on North Oak. There's a variety of different zoning districts, including B1-1, B4-2, and B2-2 to the southeast. The applicant is requesting to rezone to B1-1 in order to transition the existing house to commercial business to have multiple employees, and they won't live in the house anymore. It won't be residential use. So based on the surrounding commercial zoning district, staff believes this rezoning is appropriate and would not be considered a spot zoning. Here is the future land use designation for the site. So this is for the area plan amendment. The majority of the site is designated for residential low density. That's the yellow. But it also has a little bit of the mixed use neighborhood designation. So the applicant is requesting the area plan amendment to change the future land use for the entire site to be mixed use neighborhood. And this change would also create more continuity along this section of North Oak. As you can see, that's the use or the future land use for this corridor. And here is the definitions for residential low density and mixed use neighborhood per the Gashland-Nashua area plan. So zonings here, we want to move to the zonings here. And then here's just a couple images of the site. This is looking to the southeast on North Oak. So the house is on a little bit of a hill. And then just another image looking straight on And staff recommends approval without conditions for both the rezoning and area plan amendment. And I can take any questions. And I believe Shonda, she's the applicant, is on.
Okay, any questions from the commission, the city staff?
I have a slight question. If the amendment plan changes to have a mixed use, or will there need to be any changes to the parcel itself to look more residential, or can it stay as the housing structure with the zone changes?
Oh, yeah, I also should have mentioned that the applicant for this case isn't proposing any exterior changes. They're just modifying the existing building. So it might still have I don't want to say it has a residential look, because I think, as you could see, there's parking area in front now. But we wouldn't require that it has any sort of, commercial versus residential appearance.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so let's go ahead and welcome the applicant to this case. Is the applicant available?
Yes.
No.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. If you don't mind stating your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Shonda O'Neill. My address is 8532 North Oak Traffic Way.
Okay, having a little hard time hearing you. If you don't mind a little closer to the microphone, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Shonda O'Neill, and the address is 8532 North Oak.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add from the staff report?
No, Genevieve was pretty thorough in her description. I don't have anything to add.
Okay. I did have a question for you. Do you anticipate like a sign at some point in time?
Oh, yes, we would like to put up a sign, a lidded sign, but previously when we tried to do that, since the property was zoned commercial, it didn't meet the requirements. Our sign is too big for residential, but now that it's going to get going, we're going through this process, we do want to put up an actual lidded sign.
You anticipate that being on the side of the building or more of a monument type of sign?
We want it to be on the front of the building.
Okay. All right. I was just curious about that.
Yes.
All right. Are there any other questions from the commission to the applicant? Okay. Well, at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. So if there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item 3.1 or 3.2, please raise your hand and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, no one's raising their hand.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close public testimony. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. O'Neill, before we move forward?
Not at this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So at this time, we'll go ahead and close all public testimony. If there's anything the commission would like to speak, let's do that. Otherwise, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve docket item 3.1 and 3.2 without conditions.
Second.
Okay, so it looks like I've got a motion in a couple seconds. Lisa, can you take a roll call, please, on that motion?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Corral,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes for approval of the case, 7-0. We appreciate you bringing it in and good luck moving forward.
Thank you. I do have a question now that it's approved. So now that it's approved, do I go back to Compass to request the addition of our signage?
Yeah, and just be aware, we're a recommending body, so it still has to go through the council, I believe, for the approval. So I don't know, Joe, maybe you can kind of help guide her where to go or next, or Genevieve.
Yeah, That's
ahead.
right. Genevieve will be able to talk with you offline about specific dates that might appear on the city council agenda. And once they vote on it, that'll be the final approval, and then you'll be eligible to obtain any permits that you need to obtain, including for signage.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a happy holiday.
You do the same. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to docket item number 4, please.
Docket item 4 is case number ROW 2021-00005. A request to vacate a portion of right-of-way on the south side of East 19th Street between Vine Street on the west and Highland Avenue on the east to allow for future development. Genevieve Kahn is the staff planner.
Okay, for this right-of-way case, it is an alley vacation for the 19 Vine project or development plan. It is located in the Wendell Phillips neighborhood area. And here's an aerial view of the site. The subject alley is located off of East 19th Street between Vine and Highland Avenue. Currently, there are vacant parcels to the west, and there are multi-family residential buildings to the east. The alley is 15.5 feet wide and 95 feet long. And then here's a street view image. So as you can see, the alley is not very long. It doesn't span the whole block, fairly short and unused. That's an older image. Here is a more recent picture of the area. This is from the corner of 19th and Vine. And here is the approved development site plan for the 19 Vine project that I mentioned. And the yellow box is the proposed alley vacation in relation to this mixed use development. So the request for the vacation is to allow for the approved vehicular use area for this development. And staff recommends approval with conditions. As you can see on this slide, these conditions were provided by the entities with utilities adjacent to the alleyway. So they have to do with lighting, conduit, and utilities. And I can take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions regarding docket item number 4 to city staff? All right, seeing none, quiet bunch today. Let's go ahead and welcome the applicant to this case. So if the applicant's available.
Genevieve, do you know the applicant's name? No one's raising their hand.
Yeah, I'm looking in the list. I have Robert Anderson from Anderson Survey as the applicant, but I don't see him in the list.
Yeah, I don't see anyone that is related to this development project or Mr. Anderson. So.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and hold this docket item until we can get the applicant available. Genevieve, do you mind giving them a call and see if they can join us?
Yep, I'll reach out.
Okay, so we'll hold open docket item 4 and let's move on to docket item number 5.
Docket item 5 is case number CPC 2021-00199. Request to approve a rezoning from District UR to District UR for the purposes of amending the Beacon Hill Mount Prospect Urban Redevelopment Plan to allow for a 25-unit mixed-use development on 2 lots on either side of Troost Avenue, just south of 27th Street. Anna Naniski is our staff planner.
Thank you, Joe. Bear with me as I share my screen. Okay, docket item number 5 focuses on 2702 and 2701 Troost Avenue. It is currently zoned UR. The applicant is seeking approval to amend the existing development plan, UR development plan associated with the Beacon Hill area to develop 2 mixed-use structures on the subject site. There are about 34 units each. The subject site is located along Troost Avenue in the Midtown portion of Kansas City. This is a close-up of the subject sites. You can see Troost Avenue running northwest, and then 2701 and 2702 are both highlighted in yellow. And the Beacon Hill UR plan predominantly covers this area to the northeast and then scoops down and grabs these 2 parcels. This is a elevation of one of the subject buildings that they are proposing to build. There is a small commercial space at the corner. It is roughly 614 square feet, with the remaining building being residential. They are all studios, proposed to be studios. This is let me go back real quick. And the buildings are identical for both properties with parking in the back. This is a close-up of the site plan produced by the applicant. You can see this L and this L, like I said, identical in nature, parking in the back, access off 27th Street for both properties. City staff, we recommend approval subject to corrections and conditions in the staff report, and the corrections associated with this project. I have been in communications with the applicant, and those corrections are going to be resolved prior to City Council ordinance request. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission to city staff?
Did this require neighborhood outreach?
It did, and they completed that they held that meeting on December 13th.
So the one on the west side, isn't that in a different neighborhood?
Correct. Bear with me 1 second. The Longfellow Community Association was notified. Am I on mute?
No, you're
Okay.
you're there. I think everybody's just thinking it's a quiet bunch today, which is very unusual. I think maybe it's getting close to Christmas or something.
And the Beacon Hill Neighborhood Association would have also been notified. But I did not mention that in my staff report, so I apologize.
And commissioners, when there's 2 neighborhood associations, which is actually fairly common, when there's 2 neighborhood associations within the subject plan area, the applicant is allowed to host their own meeting rather than coordinating it through the neighborhood associations. And that's just because it's obviously going to be really difficult for people to coordinate one meeting through 2 different associations on their schedules and everything. So we can let the applicant speak to that, but I would imagine that's what they did in this case.
Okay, any other questions from the commission?
I had a question about one of the corrections. It was talking about the transparency percentages. Are they seeking a variance on that?
They're not seeking a variance. They're going to revise their plans to meet the overlay district standards.
Okay.
Okay.
And I've promoted, Mr. Chair, Nikki Chestnut and Pat Starrett as representatives of the applicant.
Okay. So let's go ahead and welcome the applicants. If y'all don't mind stating your name and address for the record, that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Pat Starrett of Starrett Urban LLC, here on behalf of the owner, Imuna Partners. My address is 3946 Springfield Street in Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Nikki Chestnut with Telford Brown Incorporated, located at 1020 East 8th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm representing Imra Partners located at 1106 East 30th Street in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, thank you. Anything y'all would like to add regarding this project?
Well, we plan to meet all corrections and conditions as Anna stated that was set by the City Planning and Development Department. We believe this is a great project for the community that will increase residential housing along the Truce Corridor. As it was stated, each building will have 34 residential units and approximately 600 square feet of commercial space, with the Truth Max running adjacent to both buildings. We also had the design team, we met with the city leadership and have received good support for this development. At this time, I'm open to take any questions that the commissioners have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission regarding this case?
I was just curious, it's all studio apartments, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes,
Okay.
1 bedroom.
I was just curious why that was the decision, and you know, what you're seeing in the market, that if that's the most desired unit size.
The other developments that the developers associated with, including the Wonder Lofts and some other projects there along the Truce Corridor, the ones in studios, 1 bedrooms and studios have been the most popular and have the highest occupancy there within the Truce Corridor right now at this time.
Great.
So I believe I heard Mr. Scarrett saying 1 bedroom. So is it 1 bedroom and studios, or is it strictly studios?
It's 1 bedrooms.
And I'm curious as to the type of commercial tenant you think would work for these 2 buildings with that small space of 600 square feet.
Probably something along the lines of live work or a small gallery, something along those lines, but probably something that would satisfy the home occupation definition within the city's zoning code.
So is there community space within the building so that if the tenants needed meetings, they would go to that? Is that kind of the concept?
That or correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki, but I think there are amenity spaces, at least one within the building that would provide some communal space for the tenants.
I believe that's correct.
Okay, any other questions from the commission to the applicant?
I have a question, Chair Crawl, but I'm not sure if this is for Anna or for the applicants. I've noticed that in some of the mixed use development that the owners of the multi-family are renting those out for like Airbnb. So my question, like, for example, I have a friend that stays in one of the lofts, and some of those units inside there are on Airbnb. My question, not like, I guess the applicants can definitely answer if there's an intention there, but is there any conditions that you guys have seen added to units where there's all, 1 bedrooms or studios? Have you added conditions, or do they need to come back if they intend to have any of their units within their property listed on Airbnb?
A short-term rental application is requested through the city. There are standard STR process. There is a limit to how many they can have within their building. So they can't lease out as a short-term rental for all of their buildings. A certain percentage will have to remain long-term rentals.
Okay, and that comes back before this body?
Not in the case of this particular project because it's zoned UR. The STRs for SUPs in certain cases, those come back before this body.
All
And
right,
that would
so
not apply to this situation. Sorry.
do you guys know, I'm sorry now for the applicants, if this developer or owner intends to have any of these properties appear on short-term leasing or Airbnb?
No, there's no intent to have any of those units as Airbnb or short-term rentals. No.
Thank you.
So what's your intended lease rate?
It's at 60 or 70% AMI, affordable to 60% or 70% AMI, which means I believe it's in around the $800 to $900 range for those apartments, if I remember correctly. Check.
And these are all electric units?
Yes.
Thank you.
I just want to say good question, Commissioner Hill. I'm always thinking about that too.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the commission to the applicant? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. If there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 5, please raise your hand and you will be called upon.
Mr. Chair, no one's raising their hand.
Okay. So let's go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else, applicant, you'd like to add regarding this case?
No, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to hear this case.
Mr. Chair, I do have one additional question.
Okay.
What's the time length do you think will take for this to be up and running?
I'm going to defer that question to Pat.
I think we're hopeful that we'll have closing here within the next 2 to 3 months on our financing, and then construction. So I'd say probably somewhere between a year to year and a half is when we would be open.
It's 21, 22, so mid 23. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, so this time we're going to go ahead and close all testimony and just speak amongst the commission. If there's nothing to discuss, I'll go ahead and take a motion, please.
Motion to approve docket item 5 with conditions as stated.
Second.
Okay, so I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 5 with conditions as stated. Lisa, can you take roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley. Can't hear you.
Aye.
Gotcha. Crowell,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes 7-0. We appreciate you bringing the project in. I think it's a great addition to that area and we'll do very well. So thank you and good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like the applicant is available now for docket item number 4. So if we can go back to that one now, I think we had the case introduced to us, had a couple of questions, and now so we're just trying to hear from the applicant regarding that particular project. So, and
Mr. Chair, I've just promoted Robert Anderson, who's representing the property owner in this case.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Anderson, as you join us here, and can you take yourself off mute and state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Robert Anderson. Address is 1408 Southeast 2nd Terrace, Lee Summit, Missouri, 64063.
Okay, so previously we talked about this is just vacation of some public right of way to serve this proposed mixed use development. Just mind telling us a little bit about this and why you need this approval.
Well, my understanding of it is a little bit limited, but my understanding is that we are wanting to vacate that portion of the alley, the remaining portion of the alley that's not been vacated, to allow for some more room for the I believe it's apartment buildings being built. So we're not having any setback issues with it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the commission to the applicant regarding docket item 4? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and open up any public testimony regarding docket item 4. So if there's anybody out there that would like to speak about docket item 4, please raise your hand and you'll be called upon for comment.
Mr. Chair, no one's raising their hand.
Okay. All right, with that, anything else to add, Mr. Anderson?
I have nothing else to add. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we'll go ahead and close all testimony. And if there's any discussion we need to have amongst commissioners, let's do that. Otherwise, I'll take a motion, please.
Move to approve docket item 4 with conditions.
Second.
All right, so I've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item 4 with conditions. Lisa, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Corral,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, so it looks like the motion passes for approval of docket item number 4 with conditions. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Anderson, and good luck moving forward on this project.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, I think we're ready for docket item number 7. We're moving pretty quickly through our docket item here, our agenda. Early Christmas.
Yeah, docket item 7 is case number CPC 2021-00195. A request to consider approval of a interjurisdictional preliminary plat within the cities of Gladstone and Kansas City in District R80, which is located on about 8 acres, located at the northwest corner of Northwest 74th Street and North Broadway, to create 2 residential lots. This is Olufu Agbaji's case, but it's being presented by Zach Nelson this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. So the applicant team for this case is Marty Arling with Caw Valley Engineering, and then the applicant himself is Brandon Scott. So this case is located up north, just west of the Gladstone city limits. A little more specifically, the subject site is located in between Highway 169 to the west and North Broadway to the east here. And there is an existing single family home on the site that is accessed off of Broadway, as you can see here. And then this is just a different map that shows the city limits of Gladstone, as you can see here. So part of the subject site is actually in Gladstone. And then there is also a regulated stream that goes through a portion of the site. And so because this is within 2 municipalities and there's a regulated stream on the site, that's the reason why this has to go through the full plating process. And then the zoning itself is R80. So this is looking west at the subject site off of Broadway. You can see the single family home here. There's quite a bit of significant grade change as well. So this is the plat plan that's been submitted. Again, there will be 2 lots proposed. The single family home that's currently existing will be on lot 1, and lot 1 will be obviously much larger, as you can see here. And then the new proposed home will be on lot 2, and they will have a shared driveway, as you can see here, that'll have a cross access easement as well. So this went to DRC earlier this month, and at that meeting, the DRC recommended approval subject to corrections and conditions. And staff request that correction number 7 be removed. It just says general corrections, and so that one should be removed. And that concludes my presentation, and I can take any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commission to city staff?
So that east portion of their lot is still under the jurisdiction of Gladstone. Am I understanding that correct? But where their entrance comes in, even though it's being replatted, you're still to jurisdiction within that.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yep.
I'm just curious because I don't think we've ever seen a case like this. How is that regulated when you have a plat that overlaps two cities?
Well, they have to go through the platting process in KCMO and as well in Gladstone.
Okay.
And so it'll
they end up
essentially be platted twice, essentially.
Got it. Okay.
And then once that both jurisdictions have approved the plat, the applicant will be able to record it, and then they'll be able to get their permits and sell the lots.
Okay.
If that's their intent.
And it looks like Matt Cross is actually in place for Marty Arling.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to the responses there and answer your question, Ashley. There's also a condition that requires an agreement between Gladstone and Kansas City, Missouri Water. And so there are some agreements that need to be put into place for this to move forward, which will be handled.
Okay.
Any other questions?
First, let's just make sure the commission doesn't have any more questions for the city staff. And then Matt, if you don't mind stating your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, my name is Matt Cross. I'm with Caw Valley Engineering and 8040 North Oak, Kansas City, Missouri, 64118.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission to the applicant? All right, seeing none. Let's go ahead and open it up for any public testimony. So if there's anybody out there that would like to speak regarding docket item number 7, please raise your hand and you'll be called upon.
Mr. Chair, no one's raising their hand.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and close public testimony then. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Cross?
No, I would just say that we had our public meeting. There was one neighbor that just asked some general questions, wanting to know what was proposed at the site. We addressed her concerns, and that was the end of the public meeting.
Okay. All right. So at this time, I'll go ahead and close all testimony and have discussion amongst the commissioners. If there is none, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve docket item 7 with conditions.
Are we removing one condition, or does that stay in there? Which condition was that, Zach, that needed to be adjusted? 7?
Yeah, 7.
Condition 7.
Correction 7, right?
Correct. Yes, excuse me. Correction 7, staff requests that it be removed.
Okay. I'll redo this. I move to approve docket item 7 with conditions, removing correction number 7.
Okay. Just, I'm kind of curious here, Joe. So I'm looking at my staff report and I've only got 3 plan corrections. And then it goes up to 17 for conditions. Do I have the right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the thing. I had the same question.
I'll ask if Zach has that up, if he can explain what's.
I'm trying to review the. So it looks like, I apologize, it looks like the staff report that was sent to you yesterday, I believe, by Lisa.
Oh, that's right.
I think that has the revised correction. So I think I was referring to the older conditions report. And it looks like that correction was already removed.
Okay, so can you just make sure we have the right one here? what plan corrections are there? How many are there? And then the conditions as well.
So it looks like there's 3 plan corrections. And then the plan conditions go from number 4 to number 17.
Okay. Do you have the same, Mr. Cross?
Yes, I do. And 2 of those are new that we hadn't seen before. The third regarding the stream setback, I believe has been addressed, but yes, I do have the most current.
Okay. And you're still okay with those conditions as stated?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Baker, if you don't mind rescinding your initial one, and let's just redo this again.
I'll rescind my motion. I move to approve docket item 7 with conditions. Is that correct?
Yeah, conditions and corrections.
And
stated.
conditions and corrections stated in the revised staff report.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So we've got a motion and a second for approval of docket item number 7 with the 3 corrections and the 14 conditions, I believe. So Lisa, can you take roll call on that motion, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Aye.
Beasley,
Aye.
Crow,
Aye.
Enders,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Rojas,
Aye.
and Sadowski.
Aye.
Okay, it looks like the motion passes 7-0. We appreciate you bringing it in, and good luck as you move forward. Yep. All right, so this is almost like a record meeting, I think. Get through these agenda items within an hour. Anything else anybody would like to add? Joe, is there anything we should look out for coming up in the new year?
January 4th's agenda right now is about 12 to 15 cases, and we will have our first periodic review text amendment in some time on that agenda. So we will have a couple, and there will be a second text amendment as well.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, everybody, for
I had one question.
go ahead.
Yeah, just I can't remember where we landed, if we were going to do any more trainings or anything like that in the new year. You want to respond to that, Kobe?
Yes, we are going to do more training in the new year, and I've had several items listed, and so between Joe and Director Williams and I, we're trying to work through those. So if I flip back here, I believe that stormwater was one, blight, incentives and affordable housing, Parkway Boulevard standards, green infrastructure, a comp plan update, decision-making tree for commissioners, and text amendments. So we will get a lot of these here, I think, in the first few meetings, through March. We'll get a lot of these topics and training taken care of, I believe.
Great.
So yeah, it's just kind of the green infrastructure, we were wanting to move forward on that. We thought we'd have it today, but unfortunately there's been a change in staff. And so that'll kind of help with some of the stormwater stuff. Blight is going to have to be done because it's a state regulated thing. It's got to be done by somebody outside of the planning department. Or maybe Sarah, I think maybe Sarah wanted to take that one on. I'm not sure. And the other ones are just a matter of getting them scheduled. So.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Anything else? All right, thank you, everybody. It's been a great year, and see you in a couple of weeks here, all refreshed. So.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. See y'all later.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Y'all take care.
Bye, guys.
Woohoo, record.
There it is. There it is.